The Empty Man is a cosmic horror film based on a comic series of the same name from Boom Studios. I'm not going to bury the lead question. Is it Lovecraftian? Yes. And I will explain that in more detail after I go over the general description. And the film is greater than the sum of its parts, because there was a fatal story change from the comic. I would say definitely for marketing purposes, which is the reason half the people who have watched it say that it's boring or that it sucks. Because with a 2-hour and 16-minute runtime, it plays out like two different movies and could have easily been chopped down by 45 minutes. The opening scene that plays out before the title card is 23 minutes long. This is where we find the giant alien skeleton in the cave that was the main thing that draws most people into the film. So that scene plays out exactly like your typical cabin fever type of horror film. Then, the middle part of the film, which most viewers seem to dislike, is your typical urban legend, Bloody Mary, Slender Man kind of film. Now I'm going to give you a minor spoiler, but it's necessary because most of you haven't heard of this before. The film uses as one of its plot threads the idea of a tulpa, which is an energy being created using spiritual or mental powers. It's basically the Tibetan version of summoning a demon. So, with that knowledge, it leads you to believe that that is what the Empty Man is. But I don't know if that is intentional or not, because the twist ending of the film gets the concept of this creature all wrong. I mean, as in almost on the sparkly vampire level of all wrong. But I will leave that part unspoiled, because it can still work in the context of the film. You can just say, it was because of the alien, and let it slide. And the last part of the film is about the main character finding out about the Scientology-like cult that is behind everything. And though it is brief, it does give us a good cosmic horror payoff at the end of the film. And as someone with a production degree, let me say this is one of the most beautifully shot horror movies I've seen in a long time. I don't know if they used some brand new cameras, but the resolution was incredibly high and it still looked like it was shot on film. It didn't have that shitty TV soap opera look that 4K cameras or TVs create. And the direction, editing, and set crew did a stellar job. Now on to the Lovecraftian elements. The middle part, which plays out like a lame stalker film, is probably only a very tiny part of the comic series, because the Empty Man is a national epidemic with millions of people affected. To have been accurate to the comic, that hour of the film should have played out like In the Mouth of Madness, because it is a straight-up rip-off of the Do You Read Sutter Cane mania from that film. And, as all you loyal cultists should know, that whole trope leads back to Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space. So if they had played the film that way instead of trying to market it as a teen slasher, it would have been 1,000 times better. And there is one scene with the cultist that is really cool, but is completely unnecessary and doesn't really fit in with the rest of the film. Especially because when they give the end explanation of the tulpa, it is a completely different kind of ritual they are using. This scene is Lovecraft's short film, The Festival. And even though that story has also become a trope used in tons of films, it in no way fits here except as a nod to Lovecraft. And for those fans of Warhammer 40k, the cult part at the end of the film actually makes it feel like the whole thing was just a setup to tell the origin story of the Emperor. Take that as you will. And although that middle part was hard to get through, overall, I enjoyed it. So be sure to subscribe for more horror, occult, and Lovecraft madness. Until next time, Cthulhu Fatagan.